Hold on, let's see. Oh, this is nice. I will say this is a nice thing about the ultra wide monitor. Linus does his videos in a slightly ultra wide aspect ratio, so it fills out a little bit more. Like if I go full screen there, it crops out the text. It's like this is normal 16:9 ratio. He does his videos a little bit wider. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Linus.
I don't often find myself truly envious of console gamers, but today I am, because the PlayStation VR2 headset is just plain better. And I don't mean better than the Google Cardboard that you have next to your tissue box. I mean that in some way...
Look, I see what you did there. I saw that, Linus. Cheeky boy.
It is better than anything that you can buy for PC gaming at all. Want an OLED screen so bad. And this one has it. And the most impressive thing is the price. The PSVR2 comes in with specs better than a Valve Index at a price that's closer to a Meta Quest.
I just love how as he's doing it with his fingers, they blur it out whenever he goes to it.
Better than a Valve Index at a
That's good. That's a good touch. I love it.
a price that's closer to a Meta Quest 2, meaning that for the 30 million of you who already own a PS5, you're ready to leap headfirst into the world of high-fidelity VR gaming at an unprecedented price. That is, as long as you want to play one of these games. Yeah. Out of the gate, it's got some downsides. And as a PC gaming and VR lover, you better believe I'm going to be looking for them with an extremely critical eye.
Good. And to be clear, my stance on this, which is really funny that it's pissed off so many like PS ponies or Sony ponies. So I can't even talk. This thing is, it's hitting me hard. My stance has been that I think the tech inside the PSVR 2 is amazing. Everything they've shown is like breathtaking. It's great. My question is just whether or not they can justify the $550 purchase today. Because like if we're going to spend $550 plus another $50 on a game, I need for that $600 investment, I need to have enough content that I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. But so far, everything I've seen is like they have some 7 out of 10s, a couple of 8 out of 10 games on there. A lot of them are like also available on other platforms, but who knows if this, like if playing on this is so much better, then it might be worth it. But my stance is that if the games library sucks right now, I have no problem personally just waiting to get the PSVR 2 until those good games come out. I don't want to spend $550 on something that I don't need to spend the money on if I'm going to use it for 2 days and then set it on a shelf and forget about it and not use it for 6 months. Because that's kind of been what I've done with my Oculus Quest 2. I used that a bunch and then I kind of have just set it aside and not used it for a while. Not because I don't want to, just because I'm like, there's just not a lot of VR games for me to tackle. And I, love it or hate it, I'm not one of those people that tend to spend like 10,000 hours in the big box or the movie box, whatever it is, screen box. I don't remember what it's called, but whatever the app is in the Quest 2 where you can like sit in a movie theater and watch movies. For me, that's less comfortable than just going up to my home theater in the living room, you know. But all told, it's great hardware. I just don't know if the games are there to justify the expense.
But if they can sell it to me, they've got a winner on their hands. Wait, that's not a winner. That's our sponsor.
Oh, Linus. Clever.
Big thank you to The Ridge for sponsoring Your Pockets Light.
The Ridge. They sent me a gold one of these wallets way back when. And I've done a handful of sponsorships with The Ridge, so I've got a bunch of these laying around. I probably have a couple in here. Yeah. I keep like backup cards or cards I don't actively use or don't want to use because I'm irresponsible with cards. I keep them in like this backup. This is like the titanium one they sent me a long time ago. So like I have tons of these Ridge wallets, and they sent me the gold one. And I gave it to Nikki, and I was like, Nikki, you should use this very nice like $200 Ridge wallet. She put it in her like fanny pack that she carries stuff around in. Yes, she uses a fanny pack. And she she scratched the ever-living hell out of it within like 3 days. So now this beautiful gold front is just like scratched like crazy. I don't know how she did it. Maybe keys. I don't know, hand stuff, yeah. It's definitely hand stuff. Why does it come with a syringe? That is actually a screwdriver. So the screwdriver handles these screws so you can, if they fall out or anything happens, you can tighten them back up. I don't know why they do that and why they don't just like seal it. Maybe it's so that they can like offer repairability, so you can just replace the plate if you need to. I really don't know. Because I agree, it seems like a waste. Like I don't think any of the Ridge wallets I've ever owned have gotten screws loose. So I would agree. I don't really know. But
Apples. However, comparing PCs to consoles is that it's never going to be quite apples to apples. However, there is one universal language, and that's money. So to level the playing field, we took the price of a PlayStation 5 with its shiniest, newest accessory, and we put together a competent VR-capable gaming PC with a Meta Quest 2 and a USB-C tether cable. Now, obviously, there are other ways to skin this particular cat. Rift S headsets on eBay, for example, are looking like a nice little snack at the moment. But given the wearable nature of a VR headset, I can sort of understand if some people would feel that it's kind of like buying secondhand underwear. So we opted for all new gear. If you want new underwear, by the way, lttstore.com. Oh yeah. I haven't fooled around with the Quest since the last time we did a Quest video, though, to be perfectly honest with you. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna be nauseous.
do you think he like actually makes good money on LTT underwear? Like I see the shirts and stuff. Like I see that stuff everywhere, the mouse pads. But do you think he actually sells underwear? Like in terms of real revenue, do you think he actually takes in good money? Because like that was, I think, $50 underwear.
This video, though, to be perfectly honest with you. Oh my, LTT store.
Like, oh, it's a 3-pack. Okay. Because I was like, I get my Tommy Johns, not a sponsor, but I get my Tommy Johns. Those things are amazing. I don't wear anything else. Luke Stevens underwear when? I guess not soon enough. I got to get on that. We do. So little sneak peek. We do have custom like mouse pads coming, or desk pads. So like desk pads this size. We are working on a very limited edition run of those. Because I've always wanted something more custom than just this black. So Casey, who did the work for like these amazing stickers and everything that she's done. Yeah, these tremendous Babe and Baby stickers. Again, LukeStevensTV.com, or these. LukeStevensTV.com again. All of these, she did the amazing artwork for that. And so I've had her work on a desk mat that we'll do a very limited edition run for. So it should be pretty baller. Should be baller. But, you know, it's tough. He's got like a big warehouse where he's making these videos. And so he's, you know, pretty comfy getting a lot of inventory. He's also running like $100 million business easily. So they can hold a lot of inventory, get it for cheaper. But for me, I'm like, I'll order 100, and if they don't sell, I'm just going to be out like $2,000. So I really hope they sell. Or like with the stickers, like this box of stickers is about like $700 to print all of those stickers. It's a little crazy. About $700 to print all those. So like if we don't sell them, yeah, I'll have a lot of stickers laying around that were just a total waste. That's part of it. You know, you're taking on some risk, you know, for sure. So it's just part of the game. High risk, high reward, right? If you guys buy the stickers, we'll probably break even. If you don't buy the stickers, I will lose some money. But you know what? That's just what we do. That's what we do.
I'm gonna be nauseated. It's having a really hard time tracking right now. Is it the lights, maybe? The main reason I'm playing around with the Quest 2 right now is just to establish a baseline for latency, tracking, as well as image quality. Because what a lot of people don't realize about the Quest 2 is that Type-C connection is not actually capable of carrying DisplayPort. So it's sending all the display data over USB, meaning that there's a lot of compression. It really doesn't look that great, even with the quality of the lenses on this headset, especially when anything is moving quickly, which with rhythm games, like the one I'm playing right now, is a major concern. Just haven't touched one of these in a while, and I wanted to hear the speakers and stuff. Still like the lightweight. It's kind of shocking given that the brain is actually in here, and the controllers are okay as long as you tape them closed so the battery compartment doesn't slip open all the time.
I appreciate how you wore that for like 3 minutes and already have a ring on your face.
Yeah.
Okay, one sec.
Oh, what's up?
Before you proceed.
You want me to put on a PlayStation VR2 hat?
Yes.
I mean, sure. If I'm gonna film an intro declaring this thing God's gift to gamers before I even get a chance to put it on, I might as well wear the hat. Right out of the gate, I was really impressed by both the weight of the headset itself and the thinness and lightness of the tether. Obviously, removing wires entirely would be ideal, but if you're stuck with them, it makes a big difference having one that's not super heavy dragging off of you. And there's lots of other things that show Sony's experience here. The headband, for example, expands quickly and easily with this button to fit even the largest of noggins, and they've used a specially textured silicone rubber, both at the back and at the front, that's designed to A, be comfortable, B, block light from coming in at the top above the skirt here, and C, not feel sticky. In fact, this is cute. They put their little X square triangle.
Oh yeah, I forgot that they do this. But yeah, on all of these PlayStation controllers, if you look really, really close, the pattern on the grips is actually very small squares, triangles, circles, X's, and everything. It's a really, really nice little bitty touch that they do on all of this stuff, especially with the PS5, and I love it. It's super, super cool that they did that. Little attention to detail, dude. You gotta appreciate it.
Triangle circle icons here, just like they did on the inside of the cover of the PlayStation 5. I like the feel of this. The cushion's kind of two-stage. It's got a nice, soft, half-inflated bike tire kind of feel initially, and then if you go deep, there's kind of a stiffer but still cushioned component behind it. Really like that. For the rest of the physical design, this button adjusts the position of the headset itself so you can bring the skirt up against your eyes. We've got IPD adjustment. Thank you. It's physical, right?
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. External cameras for pass-through and tracking. Power button, microphone, and easy access to the pass-through button so you can actually see your surroundings. Moving inside, we've got a nice sanitary silicone skirt to keep light out. We've got a sensor that tells the headset whether you're wearing it or not, and it's far less obvious, but there are IR sensors around the lenses here that handle eye tracking so that the PSVR2 can actually tell where you're looking and render in higher quality depending on what part of the scene you are actually focused on. Now, what you won't find is any kind of integrated speakers, which frankly is probably for the best because I pretty much promise you that their included 3.5mm earphones are going to sound a lot better than what the Oculus Quest 2 has. Let's just go ahead and get this plugged in. Right.
I mean, I'll be real. I don't think the Oculus Quest 2 has like... I'm surprised the speakers on that thing sound as good as they do for being like shooting straight into your ears from the little thing right by your temple. I was expecting them to sound way worse than they do when you're wearing the headset, but granted, the actual like headphones are way, way better. I had to go out and buy earbuds for the Oculus when I was playing Half-Life Alyx, and way better, way better. Play these VR headsets with headphones for sure.
And there we go. Stylish. You can really tell that this is not Sony's first kick at the can, but you can also tell that Sony is a Japanese company. On the one hand, it's not that hard for me to get a good seal. On the other hand, for comfort, I really like to wear the headset as close into my face as possible, and it is... This is my nose. Well, you know that thing where Nintendo designed a ride for America that half of American men can't?
That is so funny. That is so fun. I did see something about this. The average American male is too large to ride Super Nintendo World's Mario Kart ride. Statistically, Japanese men tend to be smaller in stature than American men. We like our fast food. What can I say? It's just a statistical reality. And so it's really funny that they designed all this stuff and then people get it and they're like, oh, this doesn't really fit too well. It's so funny to me. It's so stupid, but it's so funny. Oh. Yeah, you all inhale your fast food. Hey, you're just jelly, bro. You're jelly. We've got a Mickey D's on the corner. A&W for those root beer floats late at night. Man. You know what? Yeah, you Australians, you don't have to deal with this. Yeah, you don't have fast food, but at least we don't have monopoly money, okay? We're a little better off.
Ride. I think sometimes, you know, the designers are not the same shape as some of the users, and that's okay. I would still give it a solid B+ for comfort, which is saying a lot about any VR headset, and I really like that I'm able to block out almost all of the light here without any pressure against my face. That's sick. I'm gonna lose the hat though. It's definitely gonna be more comfortable. Oh, I was aiming for the...
If you say that's a B+,
Yeah.
what is the Quest 2?
Quest 2's okay. B?
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's like A for the PlayStation and like C for the Quest 2. I hate this thing.
I am just kind of used to it. Because I had a Vive before, and it's a very similar mounting mechanism. So I've just spent a lot of hours in it. Moving on to control.
For me, the Quest sits a lot on like the bridge of my nose. The weight sits like on my cheekbones and the bridge of my nose. That's where it feels like. And then it's a lot of pressure up here as well. With this though, for the PSVR 2, it seems like most of the pressure is on your forehead and then it gently rests over your eyes, which is nice because you can probably play this for long periods of time without it feeling like you're wearing goggles 20 feet under the surface, you know? So I kind of like that. Luke, you don't have to deal with constantly fighting off kangaroos on a daily basis or watching out for drop bears from trees. That's true. If I move to Florida, I'll have a ton of stories for you. Like, yeah, I woke up this morning and I found a scorpion inside my coffee. Drank it anyways. What's the worst that could happen? Dude, if we move to Florida, I will become the most Florida man you've ever seen. You'll just see me like start videos shirtless in the backyard, kicking a gator out of the pool. It's going to be awesome.
Controllers, the award for Best Improved goes to Sony. They're super easy to tighten on your wrist. Equally easy to loosen. Really love that. And wow, they actually look like VR controllers with things like the ability to squeeze the grips here to close your hands and nice, easy access to your dual joysticks as well as your circle, X, triangle, square buttons. Really, I can't say I have much in the way of complaints. They are a little heavy.
People with large hands had trouble with the way it goes around them.
Oh, large hands being a bit of a disadvantage. Once again, Japanese design, got it.
Americans are big, dude. Built big. Built good.
Another little drawback of the controllers is that while they do support USB-C charging, they can't be charged while playing. So while I don't expect most of you to be playing for more than the 4-hour battery life.
Oh, can you imagine? Like, you just have like the cable from the headset. You got two cables going from each hand as you're doing like Beat Saber. Dude, I don't blame them at all for not allowing it to be charged. That's a hazard. That's fine. I'm fine with that. But yeah, especially if you're playing 4 hours straight, you got a problem.
Would afford you, but if you forget to plug them in after a session, you might be hooped the next.
What about small hands though? Because my hands are tiny, I feel like I'd be constantly having them slip through my hands. Yeah, maybe. I guess that could also be a downside. But it's probably easier to have small hands where they fit in and you just have to hold them a little tighter than big hands where you can't fit your hand into the controller. So I think that's probably the better of the two options. I just installed City Skylines. I may be distracted. Dude, I'm jelly. By the way, you guys know I've been playing a lot of Kerbal Space Program. I've been playing it. I'm getting better. I've gotten to the point where I can consistently get into orbit. And last night, I got to the point where I was able to get to the moon twice. I haven't perfected the landing of it though. So I get to the moon and then I crash. So I get there. But once I land on the moon, then I've got to figure out how to get back. So I've got to make sure I have enough fuel left over. I have to be like very, very precise with my maneuvers and my fuel usage. But I'm getting there. I'm getting better. I'm getting much, much better. I might be working with the UI designer of KSP2 soon. Oh, that's awesome. I will say I love the UI of 2 way more than the UI of 1, but unfortunately, Kerbal Space Program 2 runs like absolute donkey ass compared to KSP 1. So I've been learning the ropes in KSP 1. Then once it gets more patches in, I'll move to 2.
Next time you try to jump into VR. For that reason, I can see why Sony offers this $50 charging accessory, and honestly, it doesn't seem like a terrible value considering that it's first party and probably decent. Whatever complaints we might have about the PSVR2 controllers, though, they are nothing compared to the complaints we had about the pleasure wands of previous...
Yeah, no, this is a pleasure wand.
this generation PlayStation VR experiences. Good riddance and goodbye. Enough talk, let's give it a try. Ooh, I like the haptics. It vibrates. Make sure you're holding your controllers. Yes, 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 mother. You know what? The pass-through is really good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's black and white, like it sucks or whatever, but it's
really good. I mean, it sucks or whatever. I know what he means, though. I mean, I so far, the pass-through looks actually really, really good. When you're using the pass-through on the Oculus Quest 2, it looks like you're filming it off of like a PSP camera. Like, it's bad.
very low latency. It's clear enough that you can easily just like do things if you need to, you know? Oh, well, I got hooked on a thing there, but that wasn't that bad. Oh, OLED. Oh, I want an OLED screen so bad. I can definitely see some rainbow effect on small white objects. Little tiny bit of fringing. I do wonder about the subpixel arrangement. I'm coming into this cold, guys, so you're having the experience
RGB.
with me. RGB subpixels.
Yeah.
Okay. If you go like this, you should be able to see kind of like a smearing behind objects if you're on an LCD display. Not on this. But that's not the highlight for me. It's the deep, inky blacks and the fact that going around like this, there's so little in the way of motion blur or trails behind moving objects. Let's do Horizon Call of the Mountain. I'm really excited about this. Not only is this display extremely high resolution, it's 2000 by 2040 per eye, but I can already tell that compared to just about any other VR headset I've ever tried, the screen door effect is almost negligible. So that's the black spaces you can see in between the illuminated pixels. And I was expecting it to be a little bit cleaner in terms of fringing because it does use an RGB subpixel layout, but there is still some, and honestly, I think that just comes down to the fact that Fresnel lenses, these kind of ringed lenses, they're just not perfect. Okay. All right, so let's, oh, this is pretty unforgiving. Okay. Holy crap, does this ever look good though? Wow. Like, I feel like, obviously, this is a grass texture as opposed to an actual grass thing, but like, you could just tell, like, you want to interact with it, you know what I mean? Does this support HDR?
Yeah.
The way the sun and the shadows just, oh man, having that experience, you know, where you feel like, oh, well, okay, the wall also came up, but, you know, you feel like you're actually looking over a cliff. Okay, tell me this. The eye tracking theoretically is boosting the graphical fidelity where I happen to be looking and lowering it elsewhere.
Yeah, so this is an important thing. What he's describing, what the VR2 or PSVR2 headset does, which is awesome, is that it goes in and it will track your eyes, which he mentioned earlier. But what it does is say you're looking right here at like this zip line, the post for the zip line. What foveated rendering allows you to do is like, say we are looking at this point. Where's my... Let's go here. Let's just say this is where I'm looking. I'm looking in this point right here. That's all your eyes are really focused on, right? What I can do too is I can go like this, and then I can go boop, and then I can move my head to the other side. Boop. Okay, so we're only focused on this point here. So what the PSVR 2 can do is see that you're looking there, and it can focus on this area all of its rendering capabilities, so you get the highest quality right here. That's rendering at like full resolution, everything looks great. Then they can go around that and they say, well, this is going to be in your peripheral view, so we're going to render all of this at slightly lower or perhaps largely lower quality, but we really don't have to worry about it because you're not going to be focused on it. It's just in your peripheral vision. And then everything out here, it can tell you're not looking at, and this is in the fringes of your peripheral view, so you're really not able to tell. I mean, right now you can do this as like an experiment. You can look at the screen, look at the green spot on the screen, and you can tell if you're staring right where my mouse cursor is, anything that happens over here in the fringes could be at a quarter, an eighth resolution, and you wouldn't be able to tell because it's pretty much just big blobs for you. So what this allows the PS5 to do is in real time concentrate its efforts and render at full resolution quality the parts that it needs to. And then the rest of it, it can be a little sloppy with because it just doesn't need to be that good. This is why it's honestly probably impossible to capture footage of this headset and understand how good it looks, because it's literally tailored exactly to you and where your eyes are going. So you'll never be able to see the standard and the quality that's being presented to the user. So that's a important thing to note. And this is what makes this headset so particularly cool. And that's why it allows, I think they're going to do the side by side. I think it's what's going to allow the PS5 to greatly outperform the PC in terms of what it can do, because it can render efficiently what it needs to. This is very, very similar to what Unreal Engine 5 has been doing. So Nanite does something similar where it can intelligently detect which faces on geometry are going to be heavily detailed and require more effort put into them. And in real time, it can lower the quality of each rendered asset as it needs to. So in a scene like they're about to show, it can prioritize what needs to be shown and go from there. So, I mean, again, I think this is probably the best example. Just like here, they can render these faces up close to the camera, much higher quality than the far off faces. And you can even see this here, where these faces close to the camera are much more detailed and finer. And then as you get further away from the camera, this is maybe like a 20 by 30 foot space that's rendered as one block. Oh, thank you, babe. Yep. Ooh, yummy salad. So really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. But this stuff, I mean, again, the trend with gaming tech recently has not been to just brute force better quality, which has been sort of the story for the last 20 years of gaming. The story and the tail of the tape now is to render smarter, not harder. So their goal is to render in a more intelligent way to get better quality instead of just trying to brute force render more pixels or higher refresh rates. Like, we have powerful tech, but now if you can render smarter, you can render way better. What I'm interested in, honestly, is if there's going to be attachments. Like, just imagine if you are playing on like a PC game and it's tracking your vision like that. Like, imagine if you were going in and playing something like, I don't know, Cyberpunk 2, whatever it is, and it tracks your eyes. You just set a bar up on top of your monitor. They have stuff like this already. This tech exists, but you set it on top of your monitor and then it can track your eyes as you look around the screen. Then imagine if you could tie that into the game where it renders wherever you're looking at a higher quality, just like this. That could be game changing, literally. I don't know how that happens. Like, that could be a cool feature like NVIDIA launches. Maybe they do that where they release a product. It's like $200. You put it on top of your monitor. It ties in through the graphics driver to your GPU, and then it can enhance the performance of the game greatly because it doesn't have to render the fringes as well. There could be some really, really cool stuff with that. Yeah, like a Tobii eye tracker, but specifically tied into the graphics process and pipeline. That could be awesome. And that's something I think only NVIDIA or AMD could probably come out with, because I think even if Steam came out with it, it probably wouldn't work, since the developer has to do it, and it has to be a GPU side thing. So I honestly, I would not be surprised at all if that's something that NVIDIA is working on, especially after this comes out and is so popular. I think they could be really into doing something like that. Yeah, kind of like, it would look like the Wii motion bar. But you can look up the Tobii eye tracker that Joseph just mentioned. That's basically what does it. The engine would have to support it, yeah. Well, and that's why I think, and if anybody could do it, it would probably be NVIDIA. And I would bet you, especially you give it to some influencers and creators who are like, yeah, dear God, this thing makes the game look so much better because it can render at like 200% resolution what you're looking at, and everything else drops, but it doesn't matter because you're not focused on it. One day, game with AI will be, or one day game AI will be able to tell if you're giving them the side eye and then trigger dialogue and morality challenges. Yeah, that's why I still think the future of RPGs is not in graphics, it's not in scale, it's not in anything like that. It's in AI. And most of that's probably going to be run through the cloud anyway. So I think you should buckle up for most major RPGs in the next 10 years to be always online. But it'll be because the AI simulations are done in the cloud on the server side.
I would probably notice something like that. Hold on, I'm gonna go
It's
somewhere.
super obvious. You don't even need to.
Hold on. Wait, what? Really?
Yeah, it's so obvious on this display where you were looking.
Where am I looking?
At the triangle-y chummy on the right side of the screen.
Shut up! Why are you in my head? Okay, hold on. What am I looking at?
The fern that's like halfway down the thing.
Stop. No! I can't tell, Alex. I can't tell.
It's super obvious. Like the stuff that you're looking at, especially when you're looking out past something,
Yeah.
it's like super clear there, and then everything around it's blurry.
Wow, that is so cool.
Here I can't tell because you're just looking at stuff, but like,
You say this is obvious? I
Yeah.
can't see it at all.
it is super obvious.
Shut up! It can't be that easy. Like, can you see it changing?
Yes.
Because our eyes are supposed to be so good at seeing motion. Why can't I see when things are shifting? Like, is it just sharpness?
Yeah, it's like sharpness and like the resolution of the textures.
Wow. Okay, where was I supposed to go? Ooh. Oh, that is very nauseating for me.
Oh yeah, this game just
Oh,
absolute puke town, especially for like, it's probably a lot of people's first VR experience, and they are just gonna puke all over the place.
Oh no, I have to do this again. Do not like. Okay. Oh, I feel like the world is falling away from me right now. Oh, okay. Oh! Blech. Really? Oh, seriously? I have to. Are you? Stop! I don't know if this is my favorite game ever, but boy, do I ever like this headset. Whoa! Hi there. Oh, I'm. Okay. It's not always grabbing an arrow for me here. Now, one disadvantage to inside-out tracking, that is using cameras on the front of the headset to track where your hands are, is that if you play a game, like say for example, Hollow Point, or this one, that requires you to grab arrows out of your quiver, it's relying temporarily on just the gyroscopes that I assume are inside the controllers, and those drift, so you can end up with inaccuracy. And then it'll kind of like freak out a little bit when it comes back within range of the trackers as it corrects it. It's just the nature of the technology, and there's nothing you can really do about it. Overall, I wouldn't describe it as terrible, but when things are fast-paced, the last thing you want is, you see that? Did you see how my hand drifted there? Look at these apples. Yeah, I'm trying, game. Look at this. Oh! How did I manage to bite it there? What the? I want to eat the core. Some people eat the core. You're in a dystopian future and you're gonna leave that much apple? Unbelievable. If I had to guess, I'd say it's not running at 120 hertz, but it's definitely running at a smooth 90. No, it won't let me jump off the edge. I didn't try that hard apparently. Yeah, there's no jump button as far as I can tell. Oh, because you can actually jump. Ah! Okay, sorry. All right, let's try something different. I want this display on my index, and I want it now. It's just so clean. Why can't I break things? Oh, well. Supercharge this plant's ability to grow. Get that tea. Yeah, that's what a cup against a flower sounds like.
Welcome to the Star Tenders Academy.
Oh my God, it's Riley!
Yeah.
I knew I'd heard of this game for a reason.
And I am delighted to inform you that your application was head and tentacles above the tens of others we received this
That's
cycle.
awesome.
Now,
Wait,
the boring
shut up.
contract
The
stuff.
character's name
Star Tenders
is
Academy
Riley.
not responsible for
Credit as
documentation.
in-ears. These do a
We've
pretty
given
good
you a
job of
wristband
blocking
to
sound,
design
but
that will
Alex, you're
adjust your
100%
implant
right.
settings. You
They
can personalize these by
are not the
looking at
best
your
in-ears
wrist
I've
and
ever
pressing
heard.
the button.
Quality,
Let's give it a go.
fine, but soundstage, yeah. It just, everything sounds like it's coming from inside my skull. Okay, I mean, that's probably enough of this anyway.
Yeah.
Something notable is that while Sony
Yeah. So far the games are like, yeah, it's okay, but the headset is like amazing, which is why it's all the bigger of a bummer that this thing can't run with a PC.
is plugging into a USB-C port, just like we did with the Meta Quest 2. It's not using the USB protocol. I'd be able to tell because there would be compression artifacts and blocking all over this. And there is not. It's clean. It's got to be DisplayPort over USB or something like that. It could also be HDMI, I guess. Oh, it's right-hand drive. That sure makes perfect sense. Oh, I need to, hold on. Oh, I'm inside the car. Can you guys see what I'm seeing? Not bad field of view.
It's 110 degrees.
Not the best, not bad. I don't want to even focus on what I'm doing. I just want to look around in the city while I'm driving, you know?
What I found was really good was that I was able to focus a lot further down the track than I can with other VR headsets.
Yeah, it's just because the resolution is so high and the screen door effect is so low.
I did find it not quite as far down the track as I would have want, but like on the Rift S, I had to do the IPD like super weird, so I couldn't even focus on stuff that was close to me. So
Well, that's
I could see
because
down
on the Rift S, I don't think the IPD adjustment is true IPD adjustment, it's software.
Ah.
Oh man, those headlights in the mirror behind me. It's not the brightest display ever, but the HDR effect is very, very believable. Same thing with this little blue LED on the console in front of me. Like, it's annoying. Not in a I can't play this game kind of way, but in a it's realistic kind of way, you know? Oh! The reflections on this car. Like, what?
Are those reflections being rendered at like 30 FPS?
Yes, they are.
Huh.
I wasn't even like noticing that though. It just, it's so pretty. Oh. Hi. The cold hard truth is, as much as we might try, there's
Yeah, all of the weight's on his forehead. You see that? He looks like he just got out of a bar fight.
no way to make an apples to apples comparison between this and any PC VR experience, whether
Maybe Sony will see the money and buckle to support PC. I mean, I think they'd sell like overnight, probably another 5 million if they could do that. I don't know, but their whole thing has been that they won't support the last gen PSVR on the PS5 because the tech involved with all of it just doesn't work. They say like, and that was the whole thing with first gen PSVR games, you couldn't play those on the PS5, and they said it's because the tech is different, which is probably related to the eye tracking stuff, which I'm sure is true. I don't know why they couldn't just turn that off, but maybe that's just, it's so ingrained in the hardware that they can't. But I mean, even bringing it over to PC, it's probably one of those things where it's like, yeah, we'll bring it to PC. You can plug it into your PC and use it, but you have to have a PlayStation like certified game where they have to approve it. And I mean, honestly, they could probably make some mad bucks by doing that. They just make it so, yeah, if you want to be PSVR certified, then you have to pay us a royalty of $5 a copy or something. Like, they could probably do something like that. I don't know if devs would actually do it, but it's still certainly very niche. I mean, I agree. It's very, very niche, but the people that are into VR are like crazy into VR. It's like a little scary.
whether it's a more budget-oriented one, like the Quest 2 setup that we've got here, or my Index setup at home. there's trade-offs, right? On the one hand, neither of those PC VR headsets has a display that even begins to touch the one in the PSVR2. But right now, the experiences available on the PlayStation 5 are fairly limited compared to the vast library of games that you have access to on the PC. That also ignores the additional utility of a PC. It doesn't just do VR. It also does, well, okay.
This can run SolidWorks.
Yeah, that. I was gonna say 2D gaming, but it can do all kinds of other things. It's just that, back to that gaming thing, the inconvenient truth here is that it's just plain not as good at it, either in 2D or in VR as the PlayStation VR 2. Not for the price anyway.
It also took me like 8 hours to set this up. That was like 4.
So as much as it pains me to say, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna wear the hat, at least until I get a good OLED headset on PC. Then Sony would have a very hard time getting me back. Just like you're gonna have a hard time not loving this segue to our sponsor.
Vessi, do you ever struggle figuring out what?
I gotta figure out how they get 2 sponsors in each video. It's crazy. Like, 2 sponsors. It's wild. And they have sponsors for every video. That's what's probably more impressive to me. We struggle to get sponsors like 2 to 3 to 4 a month. But some of these channels, they just have them nonstop. It's crazy. Raking in the dough. As for general impressions and thoughts, I mean, I totally agree with their overall impressions. It's just, the question is whether there are games. And I don't think they showed anything that like, yep, that's the game worth buying the console for. He took my thing!